Let's talk about Supernatural. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the show that will not be named. I am your host, Brian, or to Game Prince, whatever you prefer. And today, I would like to talk about the show that is near and dear to my heart. And I think this video is going to definitely be less of a, hey, this is Supernatural, this is what it's about, and this is the PowerPoint presentation, and blah, 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 blah. And it's more going to be a fucking watch this show kind of video. Because Supernatural is just awesome. And when I say awesome, I mean awesome in bits. Because there are some parts of it that are just fucking terrible. Um, I've been watching Supernatural since, definitely not since 2005. I didn't even know this fucking show existed until like 2018. That's when I figured out that Supernatural existed. Because my grandparents started to watch it. And the only reason my grandparents started to watch it was because they were watching Grimm. And they just started looking up shows that were like Grimm. And then it turned out that Supernatural, I'm pretty sure, was older than Grimm. And Grimm probably took shit from Supernatural. So Supernatural was the progenitor to all this shit. In summary, I ended up binging Supernatural on Netflix once I figured out it was on there. And I loved it. And then a couple seasons went by, and I started to skip episodes. Like not that I skipped, but I skimmed, and I would fall asleep during episodes just because I'm like, this is fucking boring. Especially that season of Supernatural when they just decided to make everything fairy tales. And that episode when they had that really bad scene with the fake alien. But I don't know. Supernatural began off as like this strange kind of like the two main characters, for those of you who don't know the premise, two brothers, Sam and Dean Winchester. Their mother is killed by a poltergeist, and their father, well, poltergeist. They really pushed that in the first half of the season, but then you eventually just like, eh. Um, their mother's killed by a poltergeist, and their father becomes a hunter. Basically, he becomes Solomon Kane off of, like, an entire organization of Solomon Kane's monster hunters who basically just go around hunting monsters. And whenever somebody in the show is just like, yeah, you're our cousin, our dad, our brother, he's on a hunting trip. Basically means he's out there slaying some kind of fucking evil shit. Gotta remember to keep staring at the camera. Fucking there's where it is. Um, but yeah, the show's fantastic. Dudes who wrote it apparently were trying to make it basically kind of like a paranormal Route 66, which I never saw the show Route 66, but then I read some descriptions of it, and it's not supernatural, so all of my interest in it was lost immediately because I just don't like drama shows from the 60s. Anyways, Supernatural's fantastic. Basically, the whole premise that they had going in the first season, or the first couple of seasons, I guess, was that Sam and Dean are the descendants of Cain and Abel. So that's cool. And basically, they're meant to be taken over by Michael, yes, the Archangel, and Lucifer, who was not a demon in this, but an Archangel still. And basically, the whole thing is Michael is supposed to possess Dean, Sam is supposed to be possessed by Lucifer. They're supposed to have this whole battle. The apocalypse is supposed to happen. And basically, Sam and Dean Winchester, because they can't follow the rules of fate, fuck everything up, change everything, and end up kickstarting the events of everything after seasons 1 or 2. I guess. I don't fucking know. And what's funny about this series was, at the time, I remember going to 2016 Comic-Con. And that was fantastic, and it was wonderful, and I bought like $700, but I didn't buy fucking dick. Funny story about that later, why I didn't buy anything at Comic-Con. But I remember my friend, when we went, my buddy James, they're like, oh, they're having 2 panels. One panel was by the dudes who made, Cards Against Humanity, and the other panel was for Supernatural. And I told him, like, well, I don't watch fucking Supernatural, so let's just go to let's go to the Cards Against Humanity. So, went to Cards Against Humanity, I'm not super conservative, but the dudes who made that game are libtards. Like absolute libtards. Like eerily democratic libtards. I mean, like, and even I have like democratic beliefs. Trust me, but they were just a little. I don't know. They were a little too, for my taste. And years later, I ended up, fucking kicking myself because I'm like, I could have gone to a Supernatural panel while it was still on the air. Because I didn't get into the show until a couple of years later, and of course, I haven't been able to make it to a Comic-Con recently because, we've been in the fucking end of the world. So, unfortunately, ended up getting into Supernatural 2 years after going to that Comic-Con event. And I have to say, I definitely would have gone. If I would have been at the show at the time, I definitely would have gone. The show is interesting. The show is good. There's a couple of seasons that you should really just fucking skip that nothing happens in. And a lot of the time, I feel like, to be totally honest, I feel like there were so many more creatures that could have been in the series that just fucking weren't. And I don't know why they didn't have them. And I don't know why they could have added them. And my only other complaint about Supernatural is when we get to the final season, there are so many unsolved mysteries that I think haven't been tackled yet. Such as, what happened to the British Men of Letters? What happened to the remaining 7 sins that Sam and Dean didn't kill in that one season? Whatever happened to Sam Hain, who they didn't kill but instead sent back to hell? What happened to the rest of the Leviathans who were still on Earth? What happened to the rest of the Stein family that the main Stein guy said was in other parts of the world? What happened to that that kid who was the son of the Kitsune, who was Sam's friend, who swore vengeance that he would kill Dean Winchester one day? It's just there was so many. Once they got to the end of the series, the last season kind of feels rushed. I feel like way too much time was wasted on like the first few episodes of season 5. I feel is wasted way too much on that Ghost Town arc, if you want to call it that. When I feel like they should have spent way more time just tying up loose ends, because there were so many loose ends by the end of the series and they just don't fucking get addressed. None of them. What happens to Adam? You can explain that? Nothing? There are some things that get mentioned and tied up, but they're very just like offhanded and off to the side and just kind of like blink and you'll miss it. As great and as fantastic and as expansive and as unique and innovative as Supernatural is, I am not going to lie to you, it has its flaws. And there are going to be times in the show, mark my words, where you are pulling your hair out going, what the fuck does that mean? Or why aren't they tying this up? Or what are they going to do with that? Oh, nothing. Okay. You are going to have moments like that when you watch the show, but I can guarantee you are still going to enjoy the show. You're definitely still going to like it. Just because there is such a mythology built behind it. I mean, the show's so fantastic. I mean, they got a fucking Scooby-Doo crossover. They have an episode where they go to an alternate universe, our universe, I guess, which is like, where their lives are a TV show. A dude who writes a series. Second thought, I'm not going to talk about that part. That's a bit of a spoiler. Forgot what I was going to mention, but oh fucking K. Basically, the show just has so much. Oh, that's it. There's an episode in which 90% of every fucking pantheon just gets fucking dog washed by Lucifer. The show is just so fucking good. It's got so much shit to it. You are not going to be bored for the most part. And I say that most part bit with, with the utmost respect to the writers. Just because, I don't know, I feel like when you get to like the middle seasons maybe 5-ish through 7-ish. I say 5-ish through 7-ish because some long-time characters get introduced and it's really good. Some actual good characters get put into the series. They linger around a bit. and the whole series is good. You will run into many, many episodes that are just like, oh my god, why does this exist? And even at the same time, that's part of the charm, I guess. Um, there are plenty of times that I would have liked to do videos about Supernatural while I was watching it, but I was too busy fucking binging the show that I didn't have time to make videos about it at the time. May talk about it more in the future if that's what you guys want. I don't know, but this, closing it off early because we're going on like 10, 11 minutes here. Supernatural. Watch it. That way I could talk to you guys about it. Or you could talk to me about it in the comments below. Just because I really, other than my grandparents, I literally, no bullshit. I know fucking no one else that watches the show. No one. And I know a lot of fucking people. And no one else I know watches the show. I find that really fucking weird. But, anyways, thank you for watching. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Tell me some things you would like to hear me talk about, because God knows I'm running out of ideas here. There's only so many things I'm into and can, ramble on about on a Wednesday night. 4 glasses of wine in. So, yeah. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.